think it is incredibly, incredibly powerful when it's done well. I think when you give people the opportunity to grow, to show you what they're capable of and what they can do, you can really get just unbelievable potential realized.
First-time entrepreneur, I have found it extremely convenient is the word I would use for promoting people internally, because it's, I have worked with this person, I've seen their characteristics. Sometimes you go terribly right, sometimes you go terribly wrong. What has been your experience and what is your philosophy around it?
So to this question of promoting from within, I think it is incredibly, incredibly powerful when it's done well. I think when you give people the opportunity to grow, to show you what they're capable of and what they can do, you can really get just unbelievable potential realized. Now, I also think it's important to balance promoting from within with some outside hiring.
Maybe you can add a dimension of your journey. Like when you started the firm, what was your preference and how has it moved? Like what were your learnings which told you like, oh, we need to have a balance?
Yeah. So when I started the Muse, I mean, at the very early days of the Muse, we were just a team of like ragtag, young, hungry people because we had no money, right?
Yeah.
I didn't come from any money. I couldn't raise money.
But today you have a lot of money, so well done on that.
Well, I mean, it was such a journey, right? When I started the Muse, I didn't pay myself for a year. And when I did pay myself, it was far less than the entry-level salary at most companies. And so every penny that I had that we made or that I raised went into paying my early team members, but we didn't have the money for big salaries. So we were looking for like just hungry people who were willing to, dive in. And that was in some ways the most fun era because we were just so committed. I mean, when somebody is willing to take a salary cut from what they could get working at a big corporation to come and work at your tiny startup, like people care. They really care. And then we entered a phase where the business really started working, we started scaling, and that was great and hard at the same time.
And VCs started chasing you and signing term sheets in the washrooms. And
we were laughing because I did sign a term sheet in the washroom downstairs several years ago in this very building. But no, what was interesting about that phase is as the Muse was growing, suddenly there were people who wanted to work with us or work for us because we were a sexy company, not because they actually cared about our mission or our team or our values. And so at that period, we did some promoting from within and some hiring from the outside. But interestingly, it was really hard for us to figure out for people that were new, were they coming for the right reasons? And so that's when we really codified our values. We did really deep reference checks to try and understand whether we were hiring the right people.
Checks are important, aren't they? Like they are the most important thing. I've realized
so important.
You shouldn't roll out an offer until you've done like 2 or 3 reference checks.
I know. And I really made that important because the cost of a bad hire is so painful. And we made a few of them in the early days. And so, I would say not every single person that we promoted from within worked out, but most of them at least gave it their all. And I would say we had about a 50% hit rate in the beginning with people that we brought in from the outside. And so I loved being able to find great talent that had some external experience because it brought in new ideas, new energy, new ways of doing things, but really also having a lot of people who we were growing. I mean, when I finally left as CEO of the Muse, there was a woman who had worked for me for 9 years and been promoted, I think, 6 times. We had a lot of long-time employees and leaders, and that was so beautiful.